Hey, what's up, guys? Here in the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. We're going to be going over with another show I have for you guys today. It's currently season 5, episode number 25 on the Fire Sports Pod. It was currently 9:34 on this Wednesday night. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. Let's get right to it. So, as you guys can see, we're going to be going over a couple things in the NFL, NBA, and MLB world. So let's get right into it. We had some big news out of the free agency that we had yesterday. We had some big moves, some pretty shit moves. According to my Cowboys, we did not do nothing. As kind of I kind of thought weren't gonna do anything. But first up, we had some news today at 5:06 p.m. It looks like All-Pro edge rusher for the Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons, will trying to make a return this coming week at 4:25 on Sunday against the arch rivals in the Eagles. So after a high ankle sprain that's been kept him out for the last couple weeks, he looks like he's going to be making a comeback for this year. Let's hope we could save some value. See, never know. Just gotta keep on plugging away, as they would say. But at the same time, guys, it looks like the Cowboys season might be over, depending on what happens this week. We are right now 3-5. We lose again, we're 3-6. Dak is also another news we have to get to. Dak Prescott likely out more than the 4 weeks that he's been on the IR. He actually looks like he's a avulsion of a hamstring, so he has a little bit of a tear in the hamstring. So he's going to be out for a long period of time. That means Cooper Rush is going to be our starting quarterback for the future. Now we'll see if he does well or does bad. What we would do, will we give Trey Lance a shot later in the year, see what he's got. But good on Dak, man. He got his money before the year started. Because if he didn't, then he would kind of be screwed right now. So he got his money. That means Dak is going to be staying with the Cowboys for a while. We'll see if we can get anything going with him at our quarterback. I really just have no answers for the Cowboys. We just can't do nothing in free agency. Can't do nothing at the trade deadline. Can't do nothing in the offseason. So I think this year was kind of just like screw it year. If we do good, we do good. If we do bad, we do bad. Next year, I'm hoping we get rid of Mike McCarthy and we bring in Bill Belichick to change some things. But if that's not the case and we stay with the same team, the Cowboys will just stay mediocre for the next 5 years or so until Jerry Jones moves on. But then you got his son, which his son is not really good at making decisions. Maybe the daughter will sell the team, perhaps, and we can get a new owner, a better owner, who hires better coaches and is a little bit gutsy and goes after players. Because there was a lot of players we could have had in free agency and in the offseason, even the trade deadline. Like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins for like a 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick. It was ridiculous. We could have got him. You see what he's doing with Patrick. Not comparing Dak to Patrick, but at least DeAndre is in a better situation than he would be in Tennessee. So, yeah, man, I think that this Cowboys just kind of just gave up on this season. Kind of like after the first 4 weeks, I think we kind of just said, screw it. We're going to give up and let this go. I don't really fault them for it. The season didn't really start as well as we wanted it to. But it is what it is. It is what it is, I should just say. But now we move from the Dallas Cowboys and their news. We go to the actual trade deadline, which kicked off yesterday. The Detroit Lions, who kicked off of the trade deadline day, Tuesday's trade deadline action by making the first move of the day. The Lions acquired edge rusher Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns in exchange for a 2025 5th-round pick. Detroit will also get a 2026 7th-rounder along with Smith, according to CBS Sports NFL insider Jonathan Jones. This was a long-awaited deal at Pro Football Talk. Previously reported that it was expected to go down and has since come to fruition. So the Lions make another splash as they try to improve. They get better. They get a guy that they desperately need on the defensive end after losing Aiden Hutchinson for the year. So this is a big move. I think this is a smart move. And Ladarius Smith is a bona fide star. So The Lions have their sights set on competing for a Super Bowl this year, but they lost star defensive Aiden Hutchinson to a season-ending leg injury. Now they are bringing in Smith aboard to come in and make an immediate impact along the edge rusher and help cushion the blow of Hutchinson's departure. Like I said earlier, I think this is a great move. They needed somebody to really help with Aiden Hutchinson going down. So Darius Smith is that guy who was kind of rotting away in Cleveland. Cleveland's defense has been good this year, 2 points, but their offense has been so bad that they can't get any consistency going on defense. And it's really just a one-man crew with defense playing offense and defense. So, like I said, I think the Lions make a splash, something that not a lot of people saw coming. I didn't see it. The Bengals also make a big splash in the NFL trade deadline as the second trade of the day. Cincinnati Bengals are adding some depth to their backfield. At the morning of the NFL's trade deadline, the club executed a trade to acquire veteran running back Khalil Herbert from the Chicago Bears, according to CBS Sports NFL insider Jonathan Jones. Chicago will receive a 2025 seventh-round pick in exchange for Herbert. This move comes as the Bengals head coach Zack Taylor announced that the running back Zach Moss will be out indefinitely due to a neck injury. So they lose Zach Moss, but they add a new guy. Will be out. So Moss missed the last week's win over the Las Vegas Raiders, and this additional news of Herbert not only provides insurance for Cincinnati, but possibly indicates a long absence for the veteran back. So Khalil Herbert is now a member of the Cincinnati Bengals with Zach Moss going down. Like I said, guys, teams are just getting better. Teams are doing what they need to do to stay up relevant, especially the Bengals. They've had a very inconsistent year, so they needed something to go right their way, and this went in their favor, I would say. So now we curve ourselves to the NBA, but before we start with the NBA, we're going to finish out the trade deadlines. The 49ers are coming off their bye and kicking off the second half of their season, and the Buccaneers on Sunday. Don't let their slow start fool you. Even at 4-4, the 49ers still have the second best Super Bowl odds in the NFC behind the Lions. Here's why we can expect them to make another late season run and contend for Super Bowl. Chris McCaffrey nearing return. That's the biggest news. I think that's the biggest news. Yes, Brandon Ayuk is gone, but I think Chris McCaffrey coming back for this team is going to do wonders. His nearing return could play in Week 10, bearing any setbacks from an Achilles tendonitis in both legs as he ramps up this workload in practice this week. It's still a big question mark if he will be able to return, how long he can hold up, and how effective he will be. But in a perfect world, the 49ers could be getting back last year's Offensive Player of the Year at near full strength. And if they do, the NFL's got to watch out because the 49ers are coming. Now, this is more news when it comes to the Cowboys and my reactions to how shitty Jerry Jones in the front office is and who the hell is the guy that we picked up in the trade deadline. Jerry Jones promised the Dallas Cowboys would be buyers, not sellers, ahead of the 2024 NFL trade deadline. Even with his team now at 3-5 and a quarterback Dak Prescott out indefinitely due to injury, Jones proved to be a man of his word in an unexpected way with Dallas finalizing a deal for Carolina Panthers wide receiver Jonathan Mingo. Who the hell is that? Like, really, who is that? Like, what are we doing? We're picking up guys that we don't even know who the hell they are. This guy had a problem with playing time out in Carolina, one of the worst team in the NFL. How is he going to do with us? Here's how we grade for the Cowboys deal, which Dallas is sending a 2025 fourth-round draft pick to the Panthers in exchange for Mingo for a 2025 seventh-rounder. The Cowboys, for me, I give them a D+. Mingo could still be a quality wideout, and at 23 with 2.5 years left on his rookie contract, he's got time to grow up to the point. However, he's been a superb option at best. It's almost unfathomable that Jones opted to part with a fourth rounder when proven vets like DeAndre Hopkins and Deontay Johnson just went for a fourth rounder. So we could have had 2 wide receivers with 2 fourth-round picks, and could have stole them from the Ravens and the Chiefs. Like, come on, man. This is just ridiculous. So I give them a D+ without a doubt. They just did not fulfill their promise. I mean, Jerry Jones to a point fulfilled it by getting a wide receiver, but who the fuck is Mingo? Like, that guy had problem playing with Carolina. Like I said just 30 seconds ago, the man had a problem playing with Carolina and couldn't get any playing time on the worst team in the NFL. How the freak is this guy going to do anything for our offense going forward without Dak Prescott, with the backup in Cooper Rush. Like, it's just not going to work, guys. It's just not going to work. I don't know what the Cowboys are doing. I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. And these are the problems that's been happening for us for the last couple of years. This is why we're irrelevant when it comes to winning Super Bowls and winning playoff games. So I don't want to hear anything. This guy absolutely sucks. Now, I could be totally wrong. And like I said, I hope I'm totally wrong. I hope Mingo actually turns out to be a pretty good pick. But right now, I just don't like where we're at. Now, the Commanders have landed a 4-time Pro Bowl. What a pickup. Like, the Cowboys have been shit on defense, cornerback-wise. We've been getting burned left and right. The Commanders, our division rivals, the guy that are the number one in the NFC East, they get a Pro Bowl cornerback prior to the trade deadline. According to CBS Sports NFL insider Jonathan Jones, Washington is acquiring Marshawn Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans will receive a 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick, while the Saints send the Commanders Lattimore and a 5th-round pick per Jones. So we could have gave up a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th to get a Lattimore and a 5th-round pick. That's ridiculous. Lattimore, who turned 28 in May. He's only 28. It feels like he's been in the league for a while. He's only 28 years old. He's young. Has 3 more years remaining on his current contract, including 2024. He's recorded 30 combined tackles and 2 pass defended in 7 games played this season. Injury issues are legitimately concerned, as Lattimore hasn't played a full season since 2018. The Saints were expected to consider selling pieces after a 2-7 start, which led to firing of head coach Dennis Allen on Monday. So not to mention they lost one of their key pieces in defense in Marshawn Lattimore, but they also lost their head coach because of the season that this guy has given them, which is a pretty bad season. So I would have to say, and I would have to go out on a limb here and say that the Saints did the Commanders a blessing, and the Commanders helped the Saints out with giving them picks so that they can go out in the draft and get some people to help out that system, because that organization is shit. Now, the wide receiver market has exploded this trading cycle, but one name who won't be switching teams is DK Metcalf from Seattle. A lot of people were thinking Seattle was going to trade DK. I thought it was stupid to trade DK. They're still in the running in the NFC division. The Seattle Seahawks will not be trading star pass catcher before Tuesday's 4 p.m. Eastern deadline, according to ESPN. Metcalf's market appeared to be speculative more than other receivers we've seen moving leading up to the deadline, while the likes of Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, and DeAndre Hopkins were in the thick of the trade rumors up until they were eventually dealt. They were on teams with little to no playoff hopes. Technically, the Seahawks sit in the last place in the NFC West, but the entire division is either 4-5, 4-4, or 5-4. So there's plenty of opportunity for Seattle to make a run down the stretch. Exactly what I just said, particularly with Metcalf in the fold, coming back from a little bit of an injury. He's been dealing with injury this year, but still, the man's a beast. This man's a one-of-a-kind talent. He's a freak of nature on the football field. So I think the Seahawks did good on not trading him away to still help out Geno Smith. I think they would have kind of been stupid if they would have let DK go, especially to a team that needs something. I mean, I would take DK. DK and CD would be nice. The Pittsburgh Steelers have spent the past few months trying to trade for a wide receiver, and they finally make that happen. On Tuesday, in the deadline, with just hours to go before the NFL trade deadline, the Steelers were able to pull off a deal with the New York Jets for Mike Williams. CBS Sports NFL insider Jonathan Jones has reported the Steelers first called the Jets about a possible Williams trade more than 3 weeks ago, but the two sides weren't able to get a deal done until Tuesday. To make the trade happen, the Steelers will be sending a 2025 5th-round pick to the Jets, according to ESPN. The Steelers will take the remainder of Williams' contract for the season. The veteran is a free agent in 2025. I'm hoping Russell Wilson finds him because I have him in fantasy, and if Amari Cooper is out again this week, I got to put Mike Williams in there, and let's hope he gets some targets in his new team with his new offense and new quarterback. But Mike Williams, like I said, he could get thrown one ball for 65 yards for a touchdown, or he can get no balls. Like, it's kind of really hit or miss with Mike Williams. But I think it's a good pickup for the Steelers, and I think it's a good thing for the Jets. They didn't really need him. They didn't use him that much. But yeah, I would say that's pretty much that, ladies and gentlemen. I would have to get to some NBA talk before we get off. And to me, we're going to have to start with the three teams, or the three. There's a couple teams that are one of the tops. The two unbeaten teams are Cleveland, OKC. One is 8-0, one's 7-0. Which team will lose first? And really, how come we really don't see a lot of undefeated seasons like this? 8 straight games won, 7 straight games won. It's not the NFL. But at the same time, these things can happen. Golden State Warriors started the 2015-2016 on 24-0. But rarely does talk to how their team will remain undefeated, last longer than a week or two in basketball. Sport comes with too much inherited randomness. So it's not ideal, but two teams are doing really well. Cleveland's doing really well. Everyone's healthy. OKC's doing well. Everyone's healthy. Both teams are playing really well. One's in the West, one's in the East. The East is looking all right. The West is looking really tight, man. We got top all 8 spots are really close to start out the year. So we'll see. The Warriors are right there at 6-1. They're playing the Celtics right now. We have some good talents. We have some teams that are flowing under the radar. Suns, Warriors, 6-1. They're flowing under the radar. But yeah, don't sleep on them, man. They could do the damage. We'll see how the season pans out by the halfway mark. But in general, guys, that's kind of how the season's going to go. It looks like a lot of things are going to happen. Now, I would have to change some things. As you guys know, I'm wearing a Lakers thing. I got to change some things to my Lakers, man. The Los Angeles Lakers skid continued with 115-103 loss to the Pistons on Monday night. After starting the season 3-0 under new head coach J.J. Redick, the team is 1-3 on a current 5-game road trip. That makes matters worse. Anthony Davis re-aggravated a foot injury in Detroit that has been bothering him since the summer. Davis has not yet been ruled out of the team's upcoming matchup with the Memphis. Well, he is tonight. He was ruled out, but he will be considered day-to-day. In the middle of the fourth quarter, Davis went up to try to block a shot by Ron Holland, the second, and landed on the rookie's foot. Davis immediately took all the weight off his foot and briefly leaned on the basket station for support as he made his way to the floor. So he did gingerly. It's always the same shit with Davis. It's always an injury, a small little injury. Is either his eye get poked out, or his ankle, or his this, or his that. As we all like to call it, he pulled his girl muscle. This guy they can't stay on the floor. He's a great player. He's been averaging over 30 a game. He's been playing fantastic for the Lakers, but he just can't stay healthy. There's never a season where he can stay fully healthy without an injury. Never. And that's what really sucks, because he's a great player and we need him. And he can never stay healthy. So let's hope that this is not a recurring thing like last year. Let's hope he can get back from it. Because if he can't, we're screwed. And last but not least, guys, we got to go to the 76ers. And we have some news where Joel Embiid yesterday was suspended 3 games by the NBA for shoving Philadelphia Inquiry columnist Marcus Hayes. The league announced Tuesday afternoon the incident occurred in Philadelphia's locker room after Saturday's game between the 76ers and Memphis Grizzlies, where a 124-107 Grizzlies victory. That Embiid did not participate in the altercation stemmed from the column published in October by the Inquiry. The column written by Hayes criticized Embiid for missing games, but mentioned both Embiid's brother, Arthur, who died in a 2014 car accident, and Embiid's young son, who shares Arthur's name. The story has since been edited to remove mentions of either relative, but we all know what the actual story is. So, to me, guys, I think it was warranted for him to go after that guy and push him to the floor. You don't talk about a man's family. You don't talk about his past brother and his son. It's just not what you talk about. So, I commend what Embiid did 150%. I think nobody should do that. Nobody should talk. Nobody should try to get a story out of things using their own man's family. That's how my belief is. So, I think Embiid had every right to do what he had to do. So I stand by it. Do I think the suspension was needed? Yes. I mean, he pushed like a columnist, journalist. Do I think he needed it? Yes. Did I think it was right what he did? Yes. Did I think he was wrong for what the league did? No. I think suspending him is what you have to do. If not, that creates chaos. So I just think that Embiid does have a problem with staying healthy, and I gave him all that problem. He needs to get back on the floor. He needs to stay healthy. because this man is a great player. He's a great star, but he's never on the damn court. And then last but not least for the NBA, the Denver Nuggets were dealt a serious blow on Tuesday as ESPN Shamshir and I reported that forward Aaron Gordon will be out multiple weeks with a calf strain. Gordon left the Nuggets win over the Toronto Raptors on Monday night after just 4 minutes of action. On top of that, the Nuggets haven't started out too hot, so you losing another key guy that's kind of a glue guy for Denver is going to suck. He's their rebounder. He's their dunker. He's their energy guy. So losing him is going to be tough. But if the reigning defending ex-champions and the Nuggets can do, I know they can get past it. They always do every year. So we'll see where they're at the end of the year. Jokic is still playing another MVP type season. Jamal Murray's having a little bit of a slow year so far to start out. But in general, I think the Nuggets will be back in the top of the fold sooner rather than later. But there's a big blow, though. Big blow to some chemistry. And last but not least, guys, we go to the MLB, where the Los Angeles Dodgers star Shohei Otani underwent successful surgery to repair the labrum in his left shoulder on Tuesday. The team announced he is expected to be ready for the start of the spring training. Otani suffered the injury sliding into second base as a stolen base attempt in Game 2 of the World Series. Despite a damaged labrum, Otani did not miss a game the rest of the World Series, though he looked uncomfortable whenever he took a swing and struggled in the plate. He finished 1 for 19, 105 in the series. Otani wore a heating pad on his shoulder while in the dugout and held his jersey as a makeshift sling while running the bases to keep his arm immobilized. Here's Otani's injury in the aftermath. So he slid into the base in Game 2 and he really hurt his shoulder. Didn't miss. Tough fighter. Didn't miss a game. Without him, they're not there even in the first place. So I appreciate the fight. So he's gonna have surgery. He underwent successful surgery. He should be ready to go for opening day and spring training, according to CBS. Everybody thinks that he should be ready to roll, which is good for the MLB. One of the stars in the MLB staying ready and be ready for the start of the season is always good for views and knowledge and acknowledgement. But in general, the Dodgers are just stacked, man. They get Juan Soto. It's going to be a long, long season for the MLB because they get Juan Soto. You could just give them the World Series again because they're not going to lose with Juan Soto. Just telling you that. Not even close. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the show here on the Fire Sports Pod. We kind of went over some more news, NFL trade deadline, NBA teams that are undefeated / some problems that's happening with the Lakers and 76ers and Nuggets with injuries, suspension, and just problems winning on the road. And then we went into some Shohei Otani talk and how his surgery was success and how he'll be ready for next year and how good is that for the MLB. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Have a great rest of your night. I'll catch you guys on Season 5, Episode number 26 on the Fire Sports Pod this coming Friday. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard is to me, StreamYard go. I'll catch you guys then. Have a great night, and peace out. See you guys Friday.